My dear brothers and sisters, in the book of Sirach, or we call Ecclesiasticals, there is chapter 3, verses 1 to 8, we read thus: There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to uproot. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to tear down, and a time to build. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance, and it goes on. He speaks about this time for everything for us, for all activities on this earth. The gospel passage I just read to you has reference to this time. John's disciples come to Jesus complaining. And the complaint is not against Jesus, it's against his disciples. And the complaint is, why do we and our Pharisees, so to say, all of us fast, but not why your disciples? If you go back to Old Testament, there were two major fasts and 4 minor fasts. Jesus does not in a way go against the fast, against the rules. But what he goes against is the purpose of fasting. And Jesus says there's a time to fast. And he makes reference to himself. The reference is, as long as I am on this earth with my disciples, the disciples do not need to fast, because someone greater than so-called Jewish laws is here. Jesus had never grudged against so-called laws. So many of them, over the 300, those Moses gave just 10 commandments that multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. He had nothing against them. What he was against is, why do you keep those laws? What is the spirit behind them? Is it because you want to show off that you are better, more righteous than the others? Or do you keep them because they mean something to you? You have imbibed them, you have reflected over them, you have prayed over them, and you think if you keep such laws, they are better for me, for my spiritual growth, and also helps others. So Jesus wanted to check whether they keep the laws. Even regarding fasting, it says, because they want to purify themselves physically and spiritually. And says, there is a time when they will fast. When I go away from here, when I'm crucified and I'm buried and I rise again, he says, that time they will fast. Maybe you could reflect on 2 things today. When we make our so-called schedules for the day, are we rigoristic or do we adapt ourselves? When we make our timetable for the day, are we willing to sacrifice at times so-called that little time given for myself, for others, because there's a need there. Need of help, need of praise, need of blessing, and so on. Let's pause for a while and ask the Lord, what is so-called my attitude towards the church regulations, society regulations? Are we too rigoristic, or are we willing to adapt us according to the needs of the time?